or $40 a month.
Yeah, chat AI could be expensive if you subscribe to 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. And now they're going to have APIs or what's that added software, and you're going to start seeing all kinds of things that you can do with it.
Well, Microsoft is the first obvious vendor that's tying it into their Office suite, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll see other companies with with other products that are tying AI into those too.
Yeah, we're going to have to relearn every piece of software we use, which is what we all love doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a gray matter going.
And then by that point, every piece of software will be a subscription service.
Yep. That's what it's coming to. Or that part of it will be.
Time to ask for a raise or time to win the lottery, whichever.
The odds are the same.
You got it.
If anyone's new here, we did actually get some inquiries about the show today. So if you are new and you want to say hello, just put up your hand, and we're really quite a friendly lot, right, Hewie?
Yep.
and so if you want to say hello, please do so. And then we know who you are. That's great.
I lost part of yesterday. I was sitting here. I had the TV on in the background. I was sitting at my desk doing some things. And all of a sudden I hear, "Cable guy." I had to shut down the computer and go watch that movie again. It's so funny.
For those of you who watched Geeks on Tour on Sunday, they gave our show a nice shout out and said it was a great show and to come and watch it, which was great.
Great. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. We did yesterday was the first anniversary of Robin's passing, and a couple of her sisters and one of her brothers and I did a Zoom meeting just to chat, and it was nice doing. Hard to believe it's been a whole year. So time goes by fast when you get older.
Yep.
When you want it to slow, now we want it to slow down. When we were younger, we wanted to speed up. Now we want to slow down, but it doesn't work.
Where did those last 3 years go, Hewie? We'll talk about that today.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the last edition in season 3. So next week we will be entering season 4.
Who would have thunk it?
Right.
Expect to go 4 months and you'll now be
4
entering
years. Yeah.
year 4. Big difference.
And we've made a lot of new friends that we see a lot of places now. We go to Geeks on Tour, and there's a lot of the same people, and so it feels like we know everybody, and it's a nice feeling.
And I've said this before, many people may not know this, but Hewie and I have never met in person.
Yeah.
Never. Never met him. I don't think I've ever met you. Have I, Bill?
No, not in person.
No, we've never met. I've never met Bill, but I've never met Hewie. Bob I've met, Ray I've met. I've met some people, but I've never met never met Hewie. So
Hewie and I have known each other for thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah, we roomed together at a couple of the conferences.
That's
to
true.
save hotel fees. Yep. And of course, Bob has been to both clubs that I belong to several times before the lockdowns.
Yep.
I met Bob through FCAG, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the cruise.
Speaking
Yeah.
of a friend of mine who I actually have met many times and shared a lot of drinks with, it's Greg, and he wants to say something.
Yeah. Hey, Greg.
Hey, between Huey and Bill, who snores the loudest?
Well,
I don't remember.
I'm now on a CPAP. I don't snore anymore.
I probably did, but I don't know. That's been a long time ago, actually.
Yeah.
Probably 10 years, I imagine.
One was in Arizona, I think. Or was that I rode with Dave Williams, I think, at a couple of them too. So
Yeah.
they all kind of blend together now. It's been so long.
So Ron, how's your new card working?
A new car's working fine, except we went over to pick some people up on Friday, pulled into their driveway. They got in the back seat and everything, and I hit reverse on my and as I'm starting in reverse, backing out of the driveway, this lady from the next door comes screaming out the door, yelling, "Stop the car! Stop the car! Stop the car! Your engine's gonna blow up! It's making a terrible noise!" And she was going crazy. And she said, "No, no." And I said, "Lady, it's an electric car. It does that, right? It makes this, it's a really weird noise, but when you back up, otherwise you can't hear it backing up. So it makes this very annoying noise that you do think your engine is going to blow up. It is. And that's the way it's designed, you know? And so one of my friends has a Leaf, and I said to them, you know, what does your Leaf sound like? Oh, they said it's that annoying engine blow up sound. So it's so that's sort of interesting. So aside from that,
Hey, how long or how many hours do you get between charges, or is it miles?
no, you see, I don't have the plug-in hybrid. I have the gas hybrid. So basically when I drive it, it charges. So it's constantly going between electric and gas back and forth and back and forth. But the news is our dealership said that their quota for plug-in hybrids is going from 5 a month to 25. So their production, they're going to get a lot more. So they said, don't get used to your car. I've already ordered one. So when it comes, we'll just swap them out. And when it comes in, so I may be getting it a lot earlier than I think. So that's when you plug it in, and then it will go and you can drive it for 50 miles or so before, the gas kicks in.
So Ron, with a hybrid, how many miles to the gallon do you get? Or are you still a lead-footed?
Well,
driver?
it's all very interesting. You probably double your mileage. You double your mileage with a hybrid, but for sure, it scores you on each trip. And my wife's winning right now, so it's a game you play with all these gauges because you try to keep in electric mode, right? So you're trying because you want to beat your wife or whatever, and you try to get to. So there's a new when they talk about driving hybrids, it's called glide and ride, and so you're trying to always make more electricity than you have, right? So it just depends, but you probably, in my car, you probably would double in a hybrid, a gas hybrid, you probably double your mileage.
So do you still have your pickup?
Yeah, I'm not going to sell my big diesel gas truck. Are you kidding? They're going to bury me in that.
So how much is it a liter up there in Canada? Diesel.
What is it now? Geez, I don't know. I've filled up for so long. I think it's around $1.80 a liter or something for gas. Which
so
makes
per gallon down here, it's
$4 or $5 or something. How much?
$4.80 per gallon.
Yeah, that'd probably be, but that's you. Yeah, it's probably a little bit cheap. It's probably about the same.
By the way, Ron, is that noise when you're backing up, is that sort of a safety feature for the people around you? Like backup horn is on a truck?
Yeah. Right. Instead of having that beep, 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 no annoying backup sound, they have this engine blow up
sound. Sounds like your car is broken instead.
Yeah.
Ron,
Yeah, you'll have to record it for us so that we can hear what
I can do that. Would you like me to do that? Maybe that could be our intro music.
Yeah.
Ron, Chris and Jim wanted to know, when did you stop beating your wife?
Yes.
Yeah, she's always winning on the gas. But I was reading this new glide and the new technique of driving. Glide, what is it? Glide and stop or something. Anyway, I'm going to try and beat her. But it's fun because, you know, you try to keep it. There's an EV mode when you see this is, and when I hit the EV mode, it stays, it doesn't go into gas. It won't turn the engine on. And I can go from our mall here, which is just about 3 blocks away, all the way home into the garage on total electric. So that's pretty cool. So we'll see.
Do you
But I
have to
think-
keep it under a certain miles per hour to stay in electric mode?
Well, it depends. It depends on a lot of different factors. But you know what, like what you're supposed to do is when you take off from a stop sign is you slowly get up to about 20 miles an hour. And then if it's a 50 mile, let's say it's 40 miles an hour, then what you want to do is speed up, like really quickly get up to that 40 miles an hour, and then take your foot off the gas, and then it clicks into electric and you can glide along, right? You want to keep it gliding. You don't want to keep the power acceleration on because that's when the engine comes on.
You know, Ron, my wife has the Toyota Camry, a hybrid like yours.
Oh yeah.
When I drive it, what is so disconcerting is you come to a traffic light, you stop, and the engine goes off.
Yeah.
And then
I can't really.
That bothered me in the beginning.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I don't really notice it. I thought it was going to bother me more. I guess maybe because it's not that noisy. Like I don't really, and it's constantly going on. And when you're driving, you can't really tell when it's. Well, I can because I've got the instruments. I got the instruments in front of me, and you can set the gauges so you can see when it's in electric and when it's in gas. But I don't really notice it. I know that
Swift, Mike Swift made a comment in the chat. Wouldn't it be nice if you could change the backup noise, like with an MP3, to anything you want?
Yeah.
You could say something, get the heck out of the way, I'm backing up.
Yeah. But you could just see where that would be legally, right? Like I don't think Toyota would want to do that. That'd be a bad situation.
Talk about copyright laws.
Yeah.
Just make the normal noise that cars have on trucks and stuff when they back up.
Yeah.
That'd be the smart thing to do.
I don't know. But the Leaf, the Nissan Leaf has that same awful soundings. I guess they want it really awful and annoying so that you do actually look, right? But anyway.
Definitely got that lady's attention.
Yeah, she was running out the door. She said, stop, your engine's going to blow up. I thought, what?
I had a rental car once that I turned off the ignition every time you came to a stop sign or stoplight for more than a few seconds. And I found that it was okay, except if you were sort of stopped on an upper, going up an incline. And I found that really annoying not to have the engine running. When you sort of put on the gas and take your foot off the brake, it takes a bit before it starts. And I found I'd start slipping backwards.
Yeah, I think
like driving a car with a clutch.
Yeah.
But
I think Murray, the difference here is I've been in some of those cars, but those are gas cars. And
that's right.
They're gas cars. So when your engine stops at a stop sign, like you notice the engine goes off and you feel weird because like did it die or did it stall? But in a hybrid, you don't really feel that because it's constantly, it's every 10, 15 seconds, it's going back and forth, right? So you don't really notice that.
Yeah. I want to know what just that I found that I was slipping backwards at a stop sign or light when you were on an incline, going up an incline. Now, of course, one thing about an electric car is that the torque is highest from the 0 point. So it would probably start a lot quicker when the light changes green and you start to move. But whereas a gas car,
that's true.
It doesn't start that fast, and you end up, you've got to have your foot on the brake and the gas.
That's right. That's right, Murray. That's exactly it.
And that was really annoying.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is when I put it in park, the electric brakes are on. Like there's no lever you pull up, so there's no mechanical linkage. When you put it in park, it's the emergency brake is always on.
that's actually probably a good idea. Having the emergency brake on that way.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another feature. I don't know if on the Toyotas it has it. It's what do they call it? It's a button there, and you push the button if you're at a stop sign, and you push the button, and you can take your foot right off the brake, and it won't go. Like it's just not going to go until you put your foot on the accelerator. So if you want to move your foot around, if you're stuck in traffic or something, you want to move your foot around and sort of relax your leg a bit, you just hit this button, and it keeps it. Won't move until you put the gas on.
So it's another form of emergency brake in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to put it in park
No.
to do that. It's you just hit this button.
Now I don't know what it's like now, but I know one of we had a favorite taxi driver, and he was telling us that in order for a hybrid to be, this was a few years ago, to be economically, basically for you to save money with one in the long run, you had to drive about 100,000 city kilometers per year before you would be at the break-even point over a gas car. Of course, gas.
Well. The one thing though that I'd tell you about that, and Anne Marie will probably talk, because I know she has a hybrid or an electric car. I'm not sure which one you have, if it's a hybrid, but I would tell you that the difference between in Toyota, the difference between a gas engine and a gas hybrid is only a couple of $1,000s. It's not very much money. And that's why they're so popular, because it's not, the plug-in hybrid is another $15,000, but the gas hybrid is not that much more. And Priuses have been made for 20 years, right? Like this is not new technology. Right. Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Yeah.
The gas is more expensive too.
Yeah.
I've had my plug-in hybrid for a little over a year now. I love it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very quiet. And what happens when I push the brakes twice, it locks on a stop sign or at a thing. And then automatically when I put on the gas, it goes again. Very nice, very quiet. Yeah. And also a lot of power.
Yeah, that's for sure.
More than the gas engine, same model. I had a gas engine loaner once, and I thought that was a dead duck compared to mine. Mine's really nice.
Did you put a level 2 charger in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a special just another outlet, and I have a certain whatever cable that goes in there, a certain charger. It's a regular big fat outlet that the electrician did for me, right in my garage.
That's right.
So
that's a level 2.
I get out and I plug it in, and then I drive all around town on electric. It's very nice. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
And Carl's going to tell us all about the engineering of this, right?
No.
Oh,
sorry to break the thought.
I thought you're an electrical engineer.
Well, I am. I do have a deposit on the hybrid, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to know. I have recorded a lot of things on my cable DVR, and they're all about understanding the universe, of which I'm really into these days for the last year or two. But how do I print out the list from my cable menu, all of the channels that I've recorded? Now I could take a picture of it. Is it a case that you can convert a graphics into text? I don't know how to do that.
And that's on your DVR on your TV, right?
Yeah, it's a screen. Basically, it's.
Can you take a screenshot of a TV? I guess the easiest thing would be to take a picture of it. I mean, maybe there's a way of doing that, but I've never heard of that.
If you take a picture with your phone, that can automatically convert it over to text.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Because it's in my photos, files, the gallery. How do you convert a graphics into a text? I didn't know you could do that.
If it's text, it can convert it to actual text file.
Oh, what software would I use for that?
I think Google Lens does it.
It's already in there.
Yeah.
We got experts on here called Chris and Jim Gould.
Yeah, good. Well, that's what I'll have to ask them.
Well,
Yeah,
well, they only have 2 minutes, so.
That's
All
if you're
right,
using
well-
Google Photos. I don't know that Samsung Gallery does it, but I'm checking it out.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll be hanging around towards the end. That's sorry to disappoint you on the EV things, but
I
that's
thought
a
an
hot-
electrical engineer would
that's
tell
the
us how
hot
it's all
s-
done.
Well, that and GPT is the two main things today, right?
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Carl.
And
Well, 2 minutes left. Does anyone have a 1-minute question or comment? 1 minute left. Let's start a little early. We'll get, I'll mute everybody and we'll get going. Good morning. Good afternoon.
2023.
Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Tech for Senior. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. And this is the last of season 3. We are at episode 156, and this is April 27th. Next week will be season 4. This is a 1-hour show. We'll be with you, and afterwards we have a question and answer period, and then we'll be moving on to our premier event. I want to thank everyone for coming. If you are here in the audience, we want to thank you today, and today will be a day of thanks to you in the audience, as you will see. Then I want to thank those who are on YouTube, and if you're watching this as a YouTube short, then just click the link and you'll go right to the show. We have, of course, 2 shows this week. We have our Tech for Senior, which is today, and then we have our Tech for Senior live show, which is on Thursday. We have, for those of you who have signed up for our newsletter and get our newsletter, you will have got the link to our premier event today. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, and there's just under 900 people we send our newsletter out to, you should, because it allows us to communicate with you and tell you what we do. And today in our thank you to you, we will be telling you a lot about all the things that we do. So if you please sign up. If you haven't, you'll get it's a communication tool that we have, because we have no idea who you are. So in our premier event today, we will be talking about three items. And of course, the first one will be by Dewey Kloos. And I was amazed to find that Dewey was here a year ago, which is amazing. He's going to be talking about USB 4. And then we're going to talk, and then the second item that we're going to talk about is how will I put this? Not well-known couple who frequently talk about Google Photos and are often on our show. And they 1 year ago talked about smartphone photography and tips. And that, of course, would be the very popular Chris and Jim Gould, who have that great Sunday show, What Is That Button? So that will be coming up on our second item on our premier service. And then the last, of course, is Hewie Poplock's going to talk about Wi-Fi passwords on Windows. So that's going to be interesting. So those will be our three premier events today, and I'll be putting the link in the show through the day, a couple of times through as we go through. So you can watch, and that'll be at half past the hour after the show. So that's our show today. So we have a big show for you, but before we get there, I want to thank. We need help paying the bills, and again, today is our thank you to you, and you'll see that in some of the videos we have. We want to thank the following people who were very generous with their donations this week, and that's Barbara Taylor, Gerald Smith, and Elizabeth Bradley. So we want to thank those individuals for donating. Thanks so much. We are almost at 100% of our goal this year. So thanks again to everyone. This week in the newsletter on Saturday, I put a link. I highlight one of my favorite channels, and the channel I highlighted was had to do with cars and EV cars and Toyotas. And so guess what? Anyway, it's called so it's interesting. It's a very interesting channel to watch. He has he has a lot of subscribers and over 1 million views for some of his videos. So they're very good. So you might want to have a look at that if you are interested in cars. So that was in the link. Hewie, we had a busy week last week, and we did learning Chromebooks, which was a big success, right?
Yep. And I sent out a note to everybody who was signed up for the learning Chromebooks, giving them the links for the video and for each of our videos. So if they weren't able to be on, or if they want to go back and look at them, they can. Mm-hmm. And also, I want to add a thank you. I guess some people do read the articles we put in the newsletter. I got a real nice note about the article that I posted about the Writers Guild Association and how they feel about AI. Right. And I got a really nice note on that article. So thanks, and thanks for reading the newsletter. There are some great articles on Tuesdays and on Saturdays every week.
Yes, they are. Yeah, for sure. And everybody on the show contributes to the articles. You know, they all have their different articles they do. So it's very interesting, and we do put a lot of effort into the newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed, just pop over to www.techforsenior.com, and you can, of course, just subscribe to the newsletter.
And not only subscribe, please read them.
Yes. Yeah. I went over to my friends the other day and was helping him, and he said, well, I have this other email account, and he says, that's where all your newsletters go. And he couldn't remember the password to that particular email account. So I don't think he's ever read any of the newsletters, but he gets them. Bob, how are you doing? You've been a busy guy lately.
Not any more than lately. Not any more than usual. I've gotten into a habit. If I don't at least produce 1, maybe 2 videos per day, something's not going right.
Yeah. But the good news was your internet, your cellular transmissions doubled in speed.
Yes, we have a new account representative, and I said to him when he called and he wanted to know what he could do, I said, unless you can do something about my internet speed, I don't need to talk to you. And he said, well, wait a minute. Yes, I can. Okay. So now, instead of having 6, we're talking about up speed.
Yeah.
Now I'm at almost twice that speed. So I don't know if it's going to do any better or any worse.
Well, the best you ever did was on that cruise ship. I thought that was spectacular. Well, so you should get back on the cruise. All right. And Ray Baxter, is it still snowing?
Oh, no, we've we did get a little bit of snow 2 days ago in the morning. It disappeared pretty quickly. Hopefully, what's the old expression? March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. I'm waiting for the lamb to arrive.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And Bill James.
Hello.
You are on. What are you on? You're looking awful fine today. is tell me what you would be broadcasting on.
Well, I'm threading in uncharted waters. I'm using the Mac again today. I'm later going to give a presentation on some tips that I've learned. So hopefully people don't think I'm not going to the dark side quite yet, but
well, so I guess this show is all about thanking our audience, but also you asked for it, right?
Exactly.
You asked for it. You asked us for some Mac stuff, and you asked us for an Amazon tour. And we sent Bob off to Amazon to go on a tour and record it for you. And we got Bill James a Mac. So you asked for it and you got it, right? So that's part of what we're doing today.
And thanks to Greg, I've got a Mac and I've been playing with it as well.
Right. So we want to thank, yes, for sure, Greg. Thank you so much for that. All right. So let's get on with the show then. Bob, do you want to take it away?
I can try.
Hit the button.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending March 24th, 2023. Severe security flaw found in markup tool on Pixel phones. A serious vulnerability found in the markup tool on Pixel phones can let hackers unredact and uncrop edited screenshots. Suppose you shared a screenshot of your bank statement with someone and used Pixel's markup tool to hide sensitive information, such as your bank account number or balance. The vulnerability allowed anyone to unredact that confidential information, provided you sent them an original screenshot file. When Google fixed the issue with the March 2023 security update, screenshots you shared before updating your Pixels with the latest software can still be exploited, and your hidden information can be partially recovered. Update as soon as possible. Read more at androidauthority.com. Google rolls out March 2023 update to Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro, and Pixel 6a. Last Monday, Google rolled out Android 13 QPR2 with the March 2023 security patch to the Pixel 4a, 5a, and the 7 series. This March update is now rolling out to the Pixel 6, 6 Pro, and 6a. The March update arrived a week late on the 13th instead of the 6th for the majority of Pixel phones. Last Monday, the Pixel 6, 6 Pro, and 6a did not receive any bills, with the original Tensor chip being the common hardware factor. Recent discoveries of serious security flaws addressed in this update make it imperative that you update to the latest OS release as soon as possible. Read more at 9 to 5 Google. You should receive fewer scam texts following new FCC rules. Carriers are now required to block all text messages that appear to be scams. This is the FCC's first attempt to squash scam texts through regulations. Frankly, it's long overdue. Unfortunately, the FCC's anti-robocall actions haven't been very effective, so we're a bit skeptical about the new rule. If a text comes from an invalid, unallocated, or unused number, it will be automatically blocked per the FCC new rule. Additionally, text messages sent from phone numbers that are self-identified as never sending text messages, such as government or business landlines, will be blocked. Read more at reviewgeek.com. First Pixel, now the Windows snipping tool, has a major privacy flaw. This flaw pops up when people save a screenshot using the snipping tool to crop it, and then save the resulting PNG file by overwriting the original PNG file. Example, using the same name as the original file. However, saving the cropped file under a new name doesn't result in the full screenshot being accessible. Much like the original Acropolis flaw for Pixel phones, this Windows vulnerability means sensitive information such as financial info, private images, chat messages could still be accessible in an image if you thought you cropped it out. You can always hit the Windows key, Shift key, and S to create a cropped screenshot from the get-go. A fix has not been released. Read more at androidauthority.com. Windows users need to update Outlook immediately. Hackers are actively exploiting a critical escalation of privilege vulnerability in Outlook, according to Microsoft. If you use Outlook on Windows, you need to update the email client today. Large organizations must consult Microsoft's instruction to quickly mitigate this threat. The exploit allows a hacker to access the victim's net NTLM-v2 hash. From there, the hacker can gain access to the victim's network for further attacks or observation. To update Outlook manually, simply press the File tab, select Microsoft Account. On the pop-out menu, click Update Options and choose Update Now. Read more at reviewgeek.com. Breach Forum administrator Baphomet shuts down infamous hacking forum. In a sudden turn of events, Baphomet, the current administrator of Breach Forums, said in an update on March 21st, 2023, that the hacking forum has been officially taken down, but emphasized that it's not the end. The shutdown is suspected to have been prompted by suspicions that law enforcement may have obtained access to the site's configurations, source code, and information about the forum's users. Actors will likely continue to have an appetite for breached databases, and it maintains to be seen if this can be through an alternative venue or requires a new forum entirely. Cybersecurity firm Flashpoint said. Read more at thehackernews.com. Lionsgate streaming platform with 37 million subscribers leaks user data. Entertainment industry giant Lionsgate leaked user IP addresses and information about what content they watch on its movie streaming platform, according to research from Cybernews. The Cybernews research team discovered an unprotected 20 gigabyte of server logs that contained nearly 30 million entries, with the oldest dated May 2022. The logs exposed subscribers' IP addresses and user data concerning device, operating system, and web browser. Logs also leaked the platform's usage data, typically used for analytics and performance tracking. URLs found in logs contain titles and IDs of what contents users watched on the platform, along with search queries entered by the user. Read more at cybernews.com. FTC wants to make it easier to cancel subscriptions. The Federal Trade Commission on Thursday proposed provisions that would remove barriers to canceling subscriptions and recurring payments. The new guidance would work to end the seemingly never-ending struggles to cancel unwanted subscription payment plans, the FTC said in a release. The proposed rule would require that companies make it as easy to cancel a subscription as it is to sign up for one. Lena Khan, chair of the FTC, said in a statement, "The FTC will be accepting public comments soon, when a 60-day comment window opens." Read more at cnet.com. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Read Avast's top articles on a new Instagram scam that uses fake Shine gift cards as a lure. Read the article at the link listed. Did you know? Mark Twain was born in 1835, a year in which Halley's Comet was visible from Earth. In 1909, he said, "I came in with Halley Comet, and I expect to go out with it." When he died on April 21st, 1910, the comet was again visible in the night sky. The word robot comes from the Czech robota. This translates into forced labor or work. During the first live iPhone presentation, Steve Jobs had to frequently switch phones behind the desk. Otherwise, it would run out of RAM and crash. The sound of Star Wars lightsaber was created by pairing together the sound of an idle film projector and the buzz from an old TV set. Just thought you might want to know. That wraps up another week of the Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. Good stuff. The bad guys are on the run, I see.
Yeah, and that last thing that I warned you about, the Shine hack, well, I got an email presenting me with one of those gift cards. You'll find it on our Facebook page, the explanation. So
Right,
take a look
right.
at it so you
Okay.
don't fall for it.
Right. Okay, well, thanks so much. All right. Hewie and I would like to thank everyone for your support over the past 3 years. And we have made a couple of short videos for you that will tell you how we feel about it. And then it's very self-explanatory. And I'm going to play them now. I'll play both of them. Hewie and I have one and Hewie has one now, but I'll play both of them. So let's get on with that. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. You know, this is March the 27th. This is the last episode in season 3 of Tech for Senior. Next week, we'll be moving on to our 4th season. And today I wanted to thank you, the audience, for your participation, your support, your help, and all the encouragement you've given us over the last 3 years. And I wanted just to review exactly what you've done. We started with some very modest beginnings, and I'll let Bob sort of have the final word on that.
I'm just surprised that we had 100 back the next week after the way we started week number 1. And of course,
thanks everybody for sticking with us.
Yeah, and week 1 really wasn't when the disaster happened.
So I think in this thanks, it is very important that I show you what you've supported. The small group of you, the 70 or so that come each week and not only support us financially, but you're there to cheer us on. And I wanted just to show you what you've done over the past 3 years. And let's look at the amazing stats. But before we do that, just to review that we have 2 shows a week. We have the Monday show. We also have an extremely popular Thursday show called Tech for Senior Live. We have 2 newsletters that go out on Tuesday and Saturday, along with all the other videos that we create for seniors to view all over the world. Now, you may be impressed the fact that our YouTube channel has just under 6,000 subscribers. And this is really a phenomenal success for a channel that's been around for about 3 years. This is extremely good growth. You might also be amazed that we have just under 900 videos on our channel. But our biggest accomplishment is the fact that those videos have been seen by over 500,000 people. That actually the number is just 608,000 people around the world have watched our videos, and they've been translated into many different languages. Let's look at the different countries that people have watched our videos in. United States, Canada, United Kingdom, India, Brazil, Japan, Mexico, Germany, France, China.
Really enjoy, and you can see them, they're going like this.
Yeah,
and clapping their hands, and they really enjoy each, not only the music, but the intro that Ray gives and the background to the artists and to the music, it really it adds a lot to our show, and it fits into what our original concept was, to keep it happy, to keep
That's right.
and to keep from having to talk about what's going on in the rest of the world and with sickness and everything else. We want to keep everything away from that topic, and we want to make people happy and enjoy their time with Tech for Seniors. And I think the music makes a big part of that.
Not only have our videos been viewed in many different countries, but they have also been auto-translated into many different languages, such as Spanish, French, Italian, Indonesian, Portuguese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, Hindi, Dutch, and Polish. So on behalf of everyone at Tech for Senior, we want to thank you, the audience that comes here each week to support us to keep this project going. Hewie now is going to thank the staff that works so hard at producing all these videos. And we look forward to a great season 4. All right, now let's do one more.
Thank you so much from Hewie and Ron of Tech for Seniors. It's been a great 3 years. We're going to start our 4th. We want to thank you, the audience, our friends, our regulars, those that are new. We love you all. We're glad you're here. Without you, there would be no show. Thank you again so much. I want to thank Bob G. He's been with us since episode 1. He started out just as a visitor to help us out. He became our gatekeeper and started his weekly security news and has been doing it ever since. Thanks again, Bob. And Dewey Kloos was with us on our first show, became a regular for a while, then he retired. But we want to thank Dewey for all his time and effort and his great presentations. Ray Baxter joined us later on as our music to do a music section. He did such a great job. Everybody loved it. That became a regular feature of Tech for Seniors. Again, thanks, Ray, for that. Also, Bill James has joined us with some presentations and has become a regular on the Tech for Senior Live. Mike Ungerman has become a regular. He's done a series of presentations on solar panels, and now he's been doing one on electronic vehicles. And thanks to Mike for joining us and making our show such a success. This is Ron at episode 1 and me on episode 1. We've come a long way since then. If you go back and watch the first few episodes, it was interesting, and we were fumbling and we were trying to make it work, but it did. On that first time, we had some people doodling on the screen. We didn't know how to shut that off. We soon learned. After the first episode, people couldn't write on the screen. We also got Zoom bombed. I think it was our second or third episode, and Bob helped us with that, and we haven't been Zoom bombed since. Our first logo and intro was in black and white with a little coloring for some of the letters, and then we were able to colorize it. We had a lot of special guests over the past 3 years. Chris and Jim Gould from Geeks on Tour have visited us a few times and done presentations, but they're also in the audience quite often. Michael Daniels, one of our good friends from his community, Tinkering with Tech, has done presentations for us. He also joins us in the audience at times. George Bowden do a presentation on Raspberry Pi. We've had some other speakers. I don't have pictures of them, and I apologize. I do know Marcia Berkey did a presentation, and I think there's 1 or 2 others that did, and I'm sorry I'm not including you, but we do recognize the fact that you have been a big help, all of you who've done presentations for us. You, the audience, are our important part. Without you, there would be no show. And again, another thank you from both Ron and myself. Thank you so much, everyone, from both me and from Ron at Tech for Seniors. Let's have a great 4th season.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Thank you everyone for supporting us, and we look forward to a great season 4, and we hope to have more Mac stuff. Speaking of Mac, Bill James, where are you? Oh, I better make you a co-host.
I am. I'm a co-host.
Oh, are you? Okay, great. Okay.
I'm good.
Take it away.
All right.
You know the right commands on the Mac, do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've learned that already. You'd be surprised it's not really too much different.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's some similarities. So what we're going to talk about is Mac OS tips, and I kind of subtitled this Learning the Mac for Windows Users. Mac versus PC. Before we get into the details, however, any comparison of Macs and PC needs to note that Macs are PCs. In fact, as Apple used to say in the boilerplate of every press release, Apple ignited the personal computer revolution in the 1970s with the Apple II and reinvented the personal computer in the 1980s with the Macintosh. Nor is it, strictly speaking, a comparison between the Mac operating system and Windows, because a Mac actually can run Windows. The operating system on a PC or Mac is a fundamental part of the user experience. Windows 8 was something of a car crash in terms of design and customer satisfaction. Thankfully, Windows 10 has turned out to be a good OS, but there's still a long way to go. You ask why we're doing this. It is curiosity to find out what Windows has that Mac OS doesn't, or what features Mac OS has that Windows doesn't. The fact is that over the years, the two operating systems have become more and more similar in terms of features. If you are a Windows user moving to the Mac, then we think you won't miss anything, and the same goes for the move from the Mac OS to Windows. But learning a new operating system is the frustrating factor in any switch. The benefits have to outweigh the disadvantages of the unfamiliar. For anyone who already uses an iPhone or iPad, we feel that Mac OS will be familiar even if you use Windows, which may be a good reason to move over to Mac. So some of our tips. Make the most out of Spotlight search. Using Spotlight on the Mac or the search feature any other Mac device is a massive time saver. Spotlight will let you search for any file, photo, or app you have, and it can even help you do some basic math and convert currencies. And with the right Spotlight search tips, you can search for anything instantly. Use the Control Center. To open your Mac's Control Center, you need to click on the Control Center icon in the top right corner of your screen. You can then use any of the controls available. What's great is that you can customize the Control Center on a Mac to get the most useful controls at your disposal. To exit the Control Center, click anywhere on your Mac screen or click the Control Center icon once again. Where to find apps that aren't in the dock. If there is a symbol on your Mac keyboard, you can press the F4 key to open Launchpad. As we previously showed you, you can use Spotlight and type Launchpad. The Launchpad icon should also be located on your Mac's dock. This is an icon with 9 squares of different colors. Once you open Launchpad, you will be able to see all the apps on your Mac. Incidentally, the dock is the same as a taskbar in Windows. Use apps in full screen mode. When you use an app in full screen mode, it covers your whole Mac screen, which is perfect for avoiding distractions. You won't be able to see your menu bar at the top of the dock at the bottom, but you can still access them by moving your pointer to your menu bar or the dock's location. Learn to quit apps on a Mac. It might not seem obvious at first, but quitting apps on your Mac is pretty straightforward, and there are a couple ways to go about it. First, you can click the close button, the red button with the X located in the top left corner of the app's window. However, this only closes the window and might leave some apps running in the background, like the Mail app. To completely quit an app on your Mac, click the app's name in the menu bar and you can choose Quit Application. If you're all about learning keyboard shortcuts on your Mac, you can just press Command+Q instead. Sources for this was Macworld, Mac versus PC, Top Tips and Tricks for Mac Beginners. Back to you, Ron.
There we go. So it's not that different.
Nope.
I thought Mac people were so smart because they so it's all the same. All right, there you go. Well, we look forward to more information about
more
that.
to come.
Yeah, more to come.
Hopefully, I can enlist Hewie to help.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Well, good stuff.
I think Chris had something to say about this too, so maybe she can help. So
Jim uses
Jim.
Mac.
Jim
uses Mac all the time, and he converted. He's the big converter, so he's all in with Mac now. So yeah. So anyway, yes, and so now, because you asked for it, right? We sent Bob off to an Amazon fulfillment center, and he actually videoed it for us, and he's going to show us part 1 of his trip to the Amazon warehouse. Right, Bob?
Yeah, here we go. We're about to join an Amazon virtual tour of their fulfillment centers. And in this live presentation, because you'll see that I asked a question and it was actually answered by one of the people participating in it. So although I thought first this was a recording, it couldn't have been, because they answered my question right within the show. And the places that we visited were New Jersey, Germany, and Italy. So enjoyed a little tour. I did. I hope you take advantage of it and schedule your own virtual tour of an Amazon fulfillment center.
They should move. Now that's pretty amazing. Now, again, there is no tech in the shelving units, only in the robots and that software that propels it around. So a lot of people will ask me, Kate, how do you store your products? Well, we store them right here on the shelves. We store items from granola bars to sporting goods equipment, basically any product that is the size of a microwave oven or smaller will fit into these shelving units and be stored on those shelves. It's pretty awesome. We carry tens of millions of items inside of our fulfillment centers. Okay. So what happens if an item falls off one of these shelves? What do we do? Well, we have a team of folks that is responsible for retrieving those products off the floor. They are called our amnesty responders. They wear a special tech vest that contains gadgets and sensors and artificial intelligence to keep them safe. They also carry around a tablet device with them that maintains a steady stream of communication between themselves and the robot floor. So they can actually walk out there and retrieve a product safely. They might replace those stickers as well or clean up spills that happen on the floor. Great news is that nobody needs any prior education or training to work with our robotic drive units. We train right here in-house at Amazon. In fact, we've recently announced a $1.2 billion initiative to fully fund college education for our frontline workers, which is incredible. Okay, so now that you've learned about the robots, it's time to learn how they help us in the process of getting you your items. And to show you how we start that process, I'm going to send you back across the ocean to Germany with Patricia.
Thank you so much, Kate, and welcome back, everyone. Another quick journey. Hope you enjoyed it. So this is what is happening on the robotics floor, and like Kate already mentioned, I am now going to introduce you to our first tour stop, which is called Pick. So this is happening in the background, and we may take a look at what our colleague Luisa is doing in the background. We're appreciating having a closer look to the process. First of all, thanks again for everyone joining. We've seen a couple of messages, so it's great to see you being online. And as an example, let's say one of our guests may order a little item, say a deck of cards. We focus on the smaller items here at the robotic fulfillment centers. Therefore, a deck of cards is definitely something applicable that could have been ordered by one of our guests or our customers. In this case, someone ordered a deck of cards in Germany, and FRA7 might be the chosen fulfillment center taking care of that specific order. So what is happening? Luisa is getting the information on the screen. So she's getting the order on her display, and she's getting all of the information needed. So she has the information on the screen saying the deck of cards, a picture of the item, a description, and in the background you see the yellow pot. There is the inventory inside, and she is getting information of where the deck of cards actually is. So she once has the information on the screen, but she also have a visual support. So take a closer look. There is a bright light beam, which is illuminating the correct bin. We call that pick by light. Crazy technology that we have. This is super exciting to see right now as it's happening. So she's getting all of the information needed, knowing where the item is placed in which bin. She's then picking the item, scanning the barcode, and putting the item into the correct tote. Which tote is the correct one, you might ask? Take a closer look at the gray bar over there. And you see we have a couple of buttons, and actually the one that is lighting up in green color is the correct tote, the correct black box. So we do use the technology and make advantage of that and knowing where to put the items in. We have a couple of black totes here at that specific station. At some point, these totes need to be pushed through onto the conveyance because the totes are full. We have that all registered in our system, and we know when this moment is happening. So you might see it later on. At some point, those black totes will be pushed onto the conveyance, onto the ramp, if you want to say it like that. And next up will be the tote elevator, lifting up the tote and putting it on the main conveyance belt that we have in place at all of our fulfillment centers. Taking a closer look at the workstation itself, you will see that everything is set up in a designated order, and we want to make sure that the workstation is actually ergonomically friendly. This is important to us. The health of our employees, of course, always our top priority, and therefore we make sure to listen to their feedback and implement all of the improvements that should be in place. So the designated workstation in the background is set up the same way at every fulfillment center that we have. Whenever we get further feedback from our employees, we make sure to actually take a closer look of where we can have improvements being implemented rather sooner than later, of course. This is the pick process. A lot of picking happening in the background. The totes are full at some point, and like I said, pushed through onto the conveyance. The conveyance is pretty exciting to see because it kind of looks like a roller coaster ride. We are actually taking you on that roller coaster ride thanks to virtual tours. Next tour stop gonna be the pack department. That's gonna be in Italy. So you're going to meet another dear colleague of mine shortly, Federica, calling in from Turin. But first of all, enjoy the roller coaster ride and see you later.
Before we go on that roller coaster ride, you may have noticed that I've posed a question. I wanted to know, why do some items get delivered quickly and others take much longer. And you'll find out later that that question actually gets answered. Now, let's go for that roller coaster ride.
Wow, what a fun roller coaster ride. Hello, everyone. Well, I must say ciao a tutti. I'm Federica, but you can call me Fede. I'm streaming from TRN1, which is our fulfillment center located in the northwest of Italy, close to the beautiful city of Turin. I'm here today with my dear colleague Carmen. Ciao, Carmen. Thank you so much for your support. She is actually packing our product that we just picked, that Patricia just showed us how to pick them, how we pick them. And she's now packing all of our customers' orders. But before going to give a closer look of what our colleague Carmen is doing, I would like you to notice that she's actually wearing gloves, which are part of our PPE. Don't worry, we do use many acronyms in Amazon, but it's an acronym that is standing for personal protective equipment. Gloves are just one of the many safety equipment that we use inside our fulfillment center, and they're actually for free because we do have some vending machines. Yes, you heard it correct. We have vending machines full of different PPE, personal protective equipment. You can see the picture now on the screen, and inside them you can find earplugs, gloves, high visibility vests, box openers, whatever anyone might need inside our fulfillment center to work in a safe environment, because for us, for Amazon, safety first. Remember that. Well, let's give a closer look to the process now. Carmen is starting the process, receiving the totes of the conveyor. She begins the process by scanning each item. The computer then, on the little monitor, on the little screen that the colleague has in front of her, will suggest Carmen which box size to use. The system is in fact intelligent enough to calculate to know exactly the correct box size for your orders. As items comes for the first time inside our inventory, we record its size and weight. And then this information is stored in a big database, which is referenced here to determine, to calculate the optimal box size for your order. I think this is pretty cool.
That is part 1 of 3.
So that was very interesting. So Bob, when we did our tour of the fulfillment center, it was interesting because once those boxes are completed, they went down this fast conveyor belt, like really fast. And
it's coming up.
And they were all weighed, and it was all based on weight. And if the weight didn't match the individual items, it was kicked off because there might be the wrong item in the box, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's coming up in the next episode.
Part 2. I can hardly wait. That's great. So well done. Thank you so much. If you have been to a fulfillment center, why don't you put it in the chat? Let us know. Just wondering how many people actually have visited one. It's, as I said, in our computer club. I don't remember if Greg went with us. We went, it was quite a while ago. It took me 2 years to organize it. We went to a fulfillment center in the Mesa area, and it was quite interesting. All right, Ray, after all the nice things was said about you today, are you ready to roll?
I was going to go home, but no, wait a minute, I am home. No, I'm ready to roll.
All right, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Ramin Karamaloo, Phantom of the Opera. So last week, we had friends visit us from California, and as is typical in the Baxter household, it didn't take long for the discussion to turn to music-related topics. What a surprise. Now, the singer Ramin Karamalou came up, a name I'd never heard before. And after some research, decided his story would be worthwhile mentioning this morning. Now, according to, I say ChatGPT, but it was actually Bing Chat, Ramin Karamalou is an Iranian-Canadian singer and actor, best known for his work in musicals. He was born September 19th, 1978 in Tehran, Iran. When he was 2 months old, his parents were forced to flee Iran because of the Islamic Revolution. Now, after spending 2 years in